Hi guys, and welcome to another episode of Iggy's Bodybuilding Camp. In today's video, I wanted to talk about the topic of deloading. What is deloading? Why do you deload? When do you deload? How do you deload? To begin with, let's talk about why you'd need to deload. You've been going to the gym for several weeks and you have been hitting it hard. You've been going to failure, you've progressively overloaded, you've been using drop sets, supersets, you've basically been killing it. And after several weeks of this, eventually your body burns out, your mind burns out, your central nervous system, that internal wiring that keeps you going, that keeps you strong, it's fried. And you need to give yourself a bit of a break. You need to ease off the accelerator and let your body catch up, refresh, rejuvenate, recuperate, so that when you go back, you can hit it with the same aggressiveness as you were hitting it before. The telltale signs that it's time for you to deload. You may notice a loss in strength. You may be pushing a weight and you've either plateaued or you start to find that you're regressing in terms of how strong you are at that exercise itself. You may start to get DOMs more consistently, more regularly, and they may stay for a lot longer than they used to. You may feel mentally and physically fatigued during your workouts and after your workouts. You know how it is. You've gone in and in the past you've been able to hit it with real aggression, real ferocity, but for some reason you just don't have that drive in you anymore. So it's losing your drive, your focus, your determination. You may start to see all of those things wane. You may notice that you're getting more and more injuries, these niggling little injuries that seem to keep coming, and after a while they really start bugging you, they start impeding your workout. All of these things are signs that it's time for you to deload. So, how do you deload? The two main ways that you deload is one, reducing intensity. So that is where you would do the same number of reps, but you would reduce the weight by about 50%. Or two, you could reduce the volume. So this is where you're keeping the weight the same, but you're reducing the volume by about 50%. And it goes without saying, you don't want to be going to failure. You don't want to be progressively overloading. In fact, you want to be doing the opposite. You want to leave the gym without feeling fatigued, without feeling drained. Your deload should not be strenuous. It should be allowing you to go through the motions, to keep the muscle active, get blood into the muscle without overloading the muscle. That is the key. You'll be hitting it with about 50% of the intensity you normally would, so you should feel totally fresh when you leave the gym. Things that I like to do during the deload week is incorporate a lot more stretching, to use the foam roller, to do accessory work to prevent injuries. So I like to do a lot of rotator cuff exercises. I like to stretch my lower back out. It's basically doing all the things that you may not always get time to do during your hardcore sessions. An alternative method of deloading could involve taking a week off. I'm not the biggest fan of this because I feel as though when you've taken a week off, one, I hate it because I love to be in the gym. Two, you tend to find that it takes several weeks to get your strength back, and it's several weeks that I don't really want to lose. Whereas when you do a deload, you don't lose any progress really. Following the week after deload, you go back to hitting it with the same level of intensity. However, there may be times when it's a good idea. So for example, you may be going on holiday, and rather than thinking about having to train during your holiday, you want to enjoy it, you want to be going out, you want to be doing excursions. At that point, you got to ask yourself, why not take the week off? Why not let my mind and body recover? Let me enjoy myself, let me come back fully refreshed, and then you can go back to hitting the gym hard. So taking a week off is something I like to do maybe once, maximum twice a year. An alternative to taking a whole week off is to take a part week off. So as an example, I train 4 days a week. Instead of training 4 days a week, for the next 2 weeks, I could just do 2 days a week. So say train Monday and Friday and then Monday and Friday. By doing that, you give yourself a lot longer time to recover between exercises, and that reduction in the amount of sessions that you're doing effectively works as a bit of a deload. So how often would you deload? It really depends on each individual and the training program that you're on. Some people deload every 4 weeks, some people every 8. My preference is every 12 weeks or so. So in a year, I'll deload about 4 times. The alternative to having a set time that you do your deload is to do something called auto-regulation. This is really for advanced level lifters, people who have been training for a long time, who are in touch and in tune with their bodies. For those people, when you start to see those telltale signs that I mentioned earlier, that is when you take your deload. So instead of saying I'm going to take a deload every 8 weeks, you could just keep training, and when you feel as though your central nervous system needs a break, when you're losing that drive and focus that I mentioned earlier, that is when you'd incorporate the deload in. So it could mean that you're doing a deload in 4 weeks, and then the next time in 12 weeks, the next time in 8 weeks. So it's just going by feel, really. Anyway guys, that is the ins and outs of deloading. Please remember to comment, like, share and subscribe. Hit that subscribe button. Keep living the life. Be the best version of yourself that you can be. And I'll see you next time.